Representative Jamie Raskin criticized his Republican colleagues in Congress Saturday after they met with former President Trump in closed-door meetings earlier this week, calling the positivity around the visit a scandal and a disgrace. The Maryland lawmaker's remarks come just 2 days after Trump made a visit to Capitol Hill Thursday, his first since the January 6, 2021 attacks, and attempted to paint a picture of GOP unity. Yeah, they're very united, just not in the way that's beneficial towards America. Well, he came back to the scene of his crime. He made no apology to 150 Capitol officers, MPD, Montgomery County police officers, who were injured and wounded by the mob he unleashed against us on that day, Raskin said in an interview on MSNBC's The Weekend. The Republicans who had at least tried to cry foul at that moment, who now have completely swallowed all their misgivings, and they're trying to pretend like nothing big happened. And Donald Trump can feel proud that he has consolidated cultish-type control and power over the Republican Party, he continued. But it's a scandal and disgrace for the country. In brief remarks to the press following the meetings, Trump touted the great relationship he has with Republican lawmakers and vowed that any differences would get worked out. The presumptive GOP nominee for president has seemingly mended ties with some of his most vocal critics in the party, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and outgoing Utah Senator Mitt Romney. The former president has also propped up Speaker Mike Johnson in recent weeks, even inviting him to give remarks at his Mar-a-Lago resort. Johnson was among a group of GOP lawmakers who attended Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan, which recently ended with a historic conviction. All they talked about was politics, how they're going to try to get more people elected to give Donald Trump more power, Raskin said after the panel played a clip from Johnson after meeting with Trump, where he said the party was unified and helping each other win in November. When asked if the embrace of Trump by Republicans could be a preview of what's to come if he's reelected to the White House, Raskin seemed to agree. What's happening in the Republican Party, what's happening with congressional Republicans, absolute corruption of their duty, Raskin replied. I mean, we swear an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, not to uphold one guy or one party or the interest of one billionaire sugar daddy, and yet that's what's taking place now. And yesterday they bowed down to the gun manufacturers and gave them exactly what they wanted, throwing out the rule of law, he added, invoking the Supreme Court's decision Friday to invalidate a ban on bump stocks, a device that when added to firearms can convert semi-automatic weapons to ones capable of firing hundreds of rounds per minute. The ban was put in place by Trump after a gunman used the device to kill 5 dozen Las Vegas concertgoers in 2017, the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. The Friday ruling comes as the former president, who was endorsed by the National Rifle Association earlier this month, has looked to cast himself as the best friend of the Second Amendment and vowed more protections for gun owners if he wins in November. Oh, what a lot to unpack here. I mean, I've said before that the Republicans are a cult. Like, it's just a group of people who all support one man. And, like, Trump tomorrow could come out and say, we need to have more illegal immigrants, and they would all start backing him. Like, there's very little room for any ideological disagreement because these individuals that are in office don't have any actual ideology. They're just saying and doing whatever they can to amass power for themselves. And for the foreseeable future, doing that entails supporting Trump blindly on pretty much every single issue without exception. It's pathetic, right? They can't admit that he's wrong for not apologizing to the Capitol officers. But my thing is, Raskin knows that whether you're talking about Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kari Lake, Kristi Noem, these people don't apologize for anything ever at all that they do. That's their number one electoral strategy. You look strong, not by acknowledging where you've made some missteps, where you shouldn't have done something. No, you double down on it. The election was stolen. Almost 4 years of hearing that at this point. So you're going to keep hearing it, and you're going to hear a sequel to it if Trump loses the 2024 election, where he mentions that all they talked about was politics, how they're going to get more people elected to give Trump more power. Again, that's the reason they're doing any of this stuff. It's not about passing anything. It's just, how can we make ourselves have more control? What's happening in the Republican Party, absolute corruption of their duty. I mean, we swear an oath to uphold their oath to the Constitution. And this is, again, like we talked before about Trump being a symptom of a bigger problem. They've abdicated their responsibility to the Constitution at the behest of donors and people that give them money and endorsements to even be able to run for office. And Trump is someone that they absolutely prioritize over the Constitution. Because, again, it's part of trying to stay in office, which means we're going to take whatever laws are on the books and just throw them in the trash for the sake of propping up this one man. I guarantee you, if the shoe were on the other foot, and it had been Obama or Biden or Clinton, I mean, we can go even further back, who after losing an election to a Republican said it was stolen, and they had no proof, and all their claims got thrown out of court, and there was some fake elector scheme, there wouldn't be a Republican on this planet that would try to say that the Democrats, who were in this reverse situation defending their failed corrupt leader, were not abandoning the Constitution for the sake of their cult. But the one thing I'll give Democrats credit for is you haven't seen them go to this extreme insanity when, like, yeah, you have the cult members that'll say, well, Hillary said that Russia interfered with the 2016 elections. Like, yeah, but she didn't go to the Capitol and encourage her supporters to try overturning the election results via hanging the vice president. I mean, it's apples and oranges at this point. People are allowed to make comments about thinking that something was influenced by this, that, or the other, but there is something to be said when this deadly attack, you can't get half of the politicians in the United States to unequivocally condemn, because as Raskin points out, they would rather bow down to their sugar daddy. And you know, I've said this before. We'll end this here. When people run for office, sometimes they call themselves elected leaders. Sometimes they talk about wanting to make a change. When someone wants to run as a Republican in the United States, all they have to do is go sit in the room with some billionaires and millionaires. This part is true for Democrats as well, but then that's where it stops. And when they run, they don't have to have any specific type of platform. Just praise Trump, say he was great, and you'll get elected off of coasting off your sugar daddy.